Welcome to SEC football presented by Sonic. This is Starkville. The Texas Longhorns are here for the first time since 1991 in an SEC showdown with Mississippi State. Steve Sarkisian's team, 2 losses on the season. Haven't been in Austin in over a month, and the road show continues in Stark Vegas. He's the College Football Hall of Famer, Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarzer. Alyssa Lang is on the field. You'll see her in just a second. We think we got a fair fight today. Mississippi State hasn't won a conference game this year, but they've been right in every single one they've played. And Texas fighting, scratching, and clawing for those wins in recent weeks.
You think about just a week ago, last Saturday, Texas able to escape with a victory. Mississippi State, the inverse of that, finding a way to lose a football game, but they easily could be a one-loss football team. This should be a great contest this afternoon.
Texas has a championship-level defense and special teams. Offensively, they're trying to match those other units. Let's take a look at For the Win, brought to you by Sanderson Farms. Arch Manning and the offense. How do they get it going, Matt?
Well, the big thing more than anything else is to see if they can get the ground game going. You think about that loss to Florida, a double team right at the point of attack. Get moving, don't get stuck right here on the line of scrimmage, because if you do, that backside defensive end can catch up. It slows down the running back. You end up with a negative yardage play because of no movement at the point of attack. Hasn't always been that way. Arch Manning, and we expect to see this today in the passing game as well, can hurt you with his legs. He did so versus Oklahoma, as did Wisner in his return to the lineup at the running back spot. Texas was able to get that ground game going versus the Sooners. They're going to seek to do that this afternoon to get that offense going, a better performance than we saw last week.
They won't have the ball first, though. Mississippi State, well, they've had it 24 the last 25 times. They've received the kick. They've come so close to winning these games. They're significantly better than last year, Matt, but they've lost some that they had on their racket.
It's another one of those where it's like you got to find a way to get that victory. Overtime loss to Tennessee. They thought they had them. They did. And then, of course, last week, trying to improve on that field position for a better field goal attempt. They missed one earlier in the game. Couldn't get it done with the turnover. And a really foul taste in their mouth. It still has lingered throughout the week, but Mississippi State looking to finally end that slide of losses in the SEC.
If Alyssa Lang can hear me, she has health updates on the field.
That's right, Taylor. Mississippi State fans got really excited during warm-ups when they saw running back Fluff Bothwell back in pads and going through warm-ups for the first time since that October 4th injury on the road at Texas A&M, where he was carted off with an ankle injury. We talked to Jeff Libby moments ago, who said he will not be available in this game. One more week, and then you will see him on the road against Arkansas next week. On the other side, Michael Taft, the quarterback of that Texas defense, also unavailable today after going through a thumb surgery earlier this week. Expect for Jelani McDonald to have a bigger role today. But in some good news for Texas, C.J. Baxter, who we haven't seen in that running back room since the UTEP game after dealing with a hamstring injury, will be back on the field. And guys, as the rain starts to come down and the ground game will be important, Quintravion Wisner and C.J. Baxter will now be in the backfield together for the first time since that opener at Ohio State.
Have to wait for that, Langer, because State will get the ball first. 73 degrees, and you mentioned a little drizzle on the field. In the 6th meeting all time, Texas leads 3-2. Beat State in Austin last year, 35-13. Again, first time here for Texas since 1991, and it is clanging in Stark Vegas. State's only returned 2 kicks all year. Devon Booth calls for the fair catch there, and Mississippi State will start at the 25-yard line with their 5th-year quarterback, Blake Shapen. Started 33 in a row when healthy. He didn't start this one last year because he wasn't healthy. Michael Van Buren started that game. And of course, Texas won it in Austin. Van Buren's now with LSU. Shapen has started a game in 5 straight seasons. Led Baylor to the Big 12 championship back in 2021. Threw for over 300 yards last week in the loss in Gainesville. At the 25, he hands it off to Booth, and Booth goes in the wrong direction on the first play. He'll lose a yard as Anthony Hill Jr. drives him backwards. Junior from Denton, Texas, has been terrific on that championship level defense for defensive coordinator Pete Kwiatkowski.
You can see Mississippi State over the football quickly. Anthony Hill Jr., more stress on him without Michael Taft in that backfield of the defense.
On 2nd and 11, it is Booth again who gets the edge, and Devon takes horns with him past the 30, up to the 32. That's an 8-yard pickup to make it manageable. Mississippi State will have a 3rd and 3 here. And Chapin will throw for the first time underneath, incomplete. Would have been short of the first down anyway. And that is a quick 3 and out for Mississippi State. Colin Simmons and the Horns get State off the field. Texas brings Ryan Niblett, quite possibly the best punt returner in the game, onto the field. The guy has been electric the last couple of weeks. 75-yard touchdown against OU. 2 punt returns over 40 yards last week. Let's see if Ethan Pullia punts to him. Right at Niblett, who fields it near the 20. Here he comes again. Past the 35, and Texas and Arch Manning will start on offense at the 37, 48-yard punt, 17-yard return. Well, you just said it in the open, Matt, about Arch Manning getting into a rhythm here early in this game. He's 7-2 as a starter, played in 10 games last year, starting 2 of them, including the Mississippi State win last year in Austin. Won 35-13, and he threw for over 300 yards and scored 3 touchdowns in that game. Got to make the layups today, the easy throws. And he'll throw a lateral on the first play, swinging it out to Ryan Wingo, who gets the edge and is deep into Mississippi State territory and down inside the 5. 60 yards from Manning to Wingo on the first play.
I'm not sure that was a layup. That was more like a dunk. A short pass, sure. Easy completion to get going. And Sarkisian said, I got to remember, we've got playmakers on the perimeter. I got to get the ball to my playmakers out in space where they don't have to win downfield. We don't have to hold up in protection. Already, first play of the game, evidence of that.
State thinks the Texas offensive line moved, but the officials haven't moved out of the way yet. In the pistol set, Manning fakes to Weisner. Arch keeps it. Arch, touchdown! How about that for an answer with your Texas offense? Manning is slow to get up as he landed awkwardly there in the end zone. 2 plays, 63 yards in 58 seconds.
I'm not sure it could have started any better for Texas. Take a look at the end of this play. As you mentioned, Manning got up a little bit gingerly. Looks like he was in the end zone. The ball would have broken the plane before he would have been down. What an opener. Defense comes out, gets a stop. You get an explosive play. Next thing you know, you're in the end zone. Quite the start.
Mason Shipley makes it 7-0. Cooper and Ellen are happy. How could you not be? 2 plays on offense leading to a score. Texas is 21-1 when they score first since 2023, and they're on the board in Starkville, Mississippi. First defensive touchdown State's allowed this season. League, their 2nd year in the conference, and their first trip as a member to Starkville. How about that start on offense? Shipley on a short kick, and again, Mississippi State will call for a fair catch, and will get the ball at the 25. Arch Manning scored on that rushing touchdown, Stench. What'd you see with his right leg here?
Yeah, you can see as he was kind of straining forward. You see there towards the end, he got up very gingerly, kind of limp towards the sidelines. In the training tent now, I know Alyssa's down there. He just popped out. You see him, looks like he's moving okay. He didn't even want to go in there. No, I'm good. I want to go back in.
He's accounted for 18 of the 22 offensive touchdowns Texas has this year. After going 3 and out, Chapin and State back on offense, and it's Booth around the corner. Devon gets up to the 29, maybe to the 30. Again, like Alyssa said in the open, Matt, no Fluff Bothwell today. Had that injury against A&M a few weeks ago. Might be back next week against Arkansas. So Booth, who had 22 carries last week, figures to be a huge part of this day too. And Booth takes on a few. And here's another 3rd and 3.
Yeah, you could see it's obvious. Mississippi State's going to be stubborn in the ground game. They started this game off on the ground, couple of runs, and then that 3rd down attempt. Same scenario here on the 2nd possession.
Didn't convert it the first time. And Chapin will throw. Incomplete. Dropped by Seydou Traoré. And that's another 3 and out for the State offense.
Traoré just looking to turn up, knows he was going to have to get a catch and run to pick up the 1st down. Trying to get out there on the perimeter. Already you see in this game, Mississippi State clearly going to be intentional in that ground game. Just has not been enough. Back-to-back 3rd downs, putting it away to this man. Dangerous.
Pulliam to Niblett. And he'll let it go past him, and this is a terrific punt by Pulliam. That'll pin Texas down. There is a flag down at the end of the play. Texas would take over at the 10-yard line. Today's referee is Jason Autry.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Return team number 4. The penalty's half the distance from the end of the play. It'll be 1st down, Texas.
58-yard punt, and you have to push Steve Sarkisian's offense even further back. Just mentioned that a moment ago. What a run. The Georgia game last year in Atlanta, the only loss for Sarkisian in the last 3 seasons. When the team strikes first, that's the first defensive touchdown Mississippi State's given up in the 1st quarter this year.
Much more challenging field position. You think about the way Niblett was able to get that return closer to midfield, now in the shadow of your own goalpost.
Manning hands to Wisner. Look at that hole for Quintravian. He gets up to the 10 and picks up 5. He is still the first man out there with C.J. Baxter available today for the first time in a month. Wisner leading the team in rushing with over 200 yards, but well off pace from where a Steve Sarkisian offense typically is.
Yeah, they really haven't been healthy in the backfield most of the season. And as you mentioned, really the first time this year where they at least have availability of their top backs.
Wisner again over the 10 and the 12. It'll be 3rd and short for the Horns.
Great push, though, early, Taylor. You can see this offensive front. When you're in your coming out offense, you have to be physical, but this is the down and distance that was challenging last week for Texas. Really struggled with how they converted on 3rd downs, and it wasn't the 3rd and long.
See the graphic there on the screen that tells the story that Matt's talking about. And it is Baxter that's next to Manning in the backfield on this 3rd and 2. Fake to CJ on the slant, the ball's tipped. And Mississippi State forces a 3 and out.
I'll tell you, Taylor, in a lot of ways, lucky that this ball only got tipped. Because you've got a free runner on the far side, really ended up playing the handoff. Go straight to that quote-unquote mesh point. That could have been a big collision in the backfield. So you see now special teams for Mississippi State flipping the field position, defense doing its job.
Dimitri Bingley-Jones is the man that got a hand on it. Really good punt here. Fair catch at the 40. Jack Bomeister with a nice punt. Mississippi State has good field position down a touchdown.
In the Sonic app. and in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
It's been a minute since State won an SEC game and won one here at home. Back in 2022, the win against Auburn. The last time they did it here, and then of course that Arkansas win in Fayetteville was 2 years ago. They're going to Fayetteville next Saturday here on SEC Network. They have good field position at their own 40-yard line. Head coach Jeff Levy talked to us repeatedly, Matt, about making something of these first downs today. And on this one, Chapin, a lot of trickeration that he doesn't use and throws downfield, incomplete. He's trying to sandwich it in there for Sam West. It's incomplete.
He ended up pushing it in to West, but what they wanted was Brennan Thompson. I think about a week ago, able to hit a couple of nice shots, second play of the game. Were able to push the ball downfield. That time, as you mentioned, a lot of activity in that backfield. So far, Mississippi State, first two possessions, it's run, pass, but they've been able to get it third and manageable. 3rd and 3. They stayed away from that attempt on first down to try to chip away at that down and distance. With that incompletion, get that full set of 10 yards. They're just trying to get that first down to get into their tempo offense.
On 2nd and 10, Chapin throws the deep ball. Incomplete, but flags everywhere. Anthony Evans, the intended target. It's Grayson Littleton, the true freshman.
Pass interference, defense number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot was an automatic first down.
Jelani McDonald's name they called out instead. There were 2 defenders down there.
If this ball isn't underthrown, it's likely an incomplete pass. As you mentioned, you're in phase. Littleton just panics. Ball, we've seen this a lot this year. Underthrown passes, the receiver's trying to fight back to the football. The DB does not get their head around, get that DPI.
It certainly was Littleton that committed the foul as they go back to the ground with Xavier Gayton. And Gavin, the sophomore from Brookhaven, Mississippi, that we've seen in the Wildcat formation quite a bit. Gets a few there. It's 2nd and 9.
Well, Taylor, Jeff Levy said, we like our matchups outside. They love their speed at receiver. First time we saw the ball go downfield, they were trying to get it pushed downfield on the previous play.
Chapin facing pressure. Escapes. Good ball for a first down to Traore inside the 30.
Well, for Texas, prior to this possession, they've been able to avoid the stress that a tempo offense puts you in. No Michael Taff in the back end. This stresses the communication of the defense.
And now it's Gayton going the wrong direction. Might have lost a foot or so.
Yeah, it seems pretty evident that they're going to say, look, we're going to continue to keep you honest defensively. We're going to continue to push the ball on the ground. Gayton, again, as you mentioned, a guy that is getting more touches. They expect a lot out of him. Missed some opportunities on well-blocked plays last week where he wasn't able to capitalize for bigger runs.
On 2nd and 10, Chapin with time, throws, and that was a dangerous ball over the head of his intended target, Evans. 3rd down.
Ball just got away from him a little bit. Not a lot of pressure that time. Ball just sailed. You see now, so you're not efficient on that first down. 2nd down, an incomplete pass to an open receiver. Missed opportunity there.
Just 1 for 5, Matt, to start the game. And 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Throws, and that ball's deflected by a horn near the line of scrimmage that'll force 4th and a Kyle Ferry field goal attempt. Trey Moore got a hand on it.
Great timing by Trey Moore. Saw it, felt it. He was kind of dropping out of his pass rush. Knew he wasn't going to get home. Good job of getting up and elevating. Already we've seen now on 3rd downs, these tipped passes, if you can't get there at home, as a pass rusher.
Ferry missed from 41 last week, though. I'm still not sure he did. Right over one of those uprights. It's an outstanding year and career, and this one's blocked.
as Ethan Burke was able to get through there and block the kick. What an effort. Great job getting upfield. You mentioned it, Taylor Ferry. Last week, some adventures. You see Burke able to slide right between the protection and extend. He's all of 6'6". Able to get up and elevate it, block that kick, an empty possession after a promising drive, aided by that defensive pass interference.
Burke, the senior from Austin, Texas, with the play, and Mississippi State still without a point here in the first quarter as Texas is back on offense and Arch Manning begins drive number 3. And there's C.J. Baxter. Warren fans excited to have him back in the lineup. Gets 1 yard on first down. There's a lot of internet chatter earlier today about Steve Sarkisian's future and whether it'll be in college or at the professional level. His management team, his agent, sent out a scathing denial earlier today, denying that he has any interest of anything other than being Texas coach, and that ball's dropped by Wingo. Show you this graphic again and read it for you on 3rd and 9. Any reports regarding communications on coaching opportunities with NFL teams are patently false and wildly inaccurate. Sark is solely focused on coaching the University of Texas football team. What does he draw up for Arch Manning in the offense on a 3rd and 9?
Well, what we haven't seen is pressure from Mississippi State. See if they try to heat Arch Manning up on 3rd and long.
Pressure, here's that heat, and down he goes. Darion Gillette, the former Texas Longhorn.
Well, we talked to Coleman Hopsler, and look, what happens is he's going to end up working right up the middle. Where you want to pressure is inside out. So watch, the back works outside. Does a great job of diagnosing that opportunity. Gillette able to get Arch Manning on the ground.
Also 10 yards on the play. This off the side of the foot and out of bounds. As Bomeister, that's not his best. Just a 33-yard punt. And again, Mississippi State will have good field position. Here's Trey Moore already with a play in the game, causing a deflection. Matt, he's a finalist for the Campbell Trophy. Terrific GPA on the 40 acres. Spring team academic MVP.
The academic Heisman, you can see why too. It was a really smart play that he made on the 3rd down to come out of his pass rush and get his hands up. Mississippi State defense, back-to-back possessions, getting their offense good field position.
Traore, the big tight end, takes Texas with them near the first down marker. It is a first down. The Englishman with a couple catches early. And Chapin and State go quickly. It's Booth, and he's inside the 35.
This is what they were talking about. No substitution. Try to trap personnel on the field, and you get lined up before the defense can get their cleats in the ground.
Consecutive first down plays on first down. And Chapin across the middle, wide open target for a first down inside the 15 is Evans, sat down on a slant for 20 more.
So you get over the football quickly, you run the ball, and then you get over it quickly, fake, play action, and able to jam one in there to Evans. Safety late getting over there on help.
Texas not ready for this pace, and Booth maybe a yard there as Brad Spence makes the tackle. Jeff Levy with a positive play on first down will go as quickly as anybody in the game. There's Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator for Texas, who has one of the best groups in all of college football.
We talked about this yesterday, the tempo, and he said, look, the difficulty is simulating. We can go fast too. The Mississippi State so quickly those last 3 snaps.
2nd and 9. Booth again, and again, not much. Trey Moore, we're just talking about his academic prowess. Outstanding player for UTSA and for the Horns.
This is what you have to do defensively. So you're bleeding. Tempo is starting to spool up on you. Back-to-back plays, no gain on the play. You test that defense, and once again, that Texas defense that has shown that internal rush lanes, not a ton of them versus the Longhorns.
Aiden Williams goes to the top of your screen there. Shapen on 3rd and 10. Good ball and a touchdown! Sam West. Just his 2nd catch of the year and his 1st touchdown. Yes, primarily a special teamer, a backup tight end, the transfer from Indiana. And Kyle Ferry ties it up. How about Blake Shapen on that drive, Stinch? 3 for 3, 43 yards and a touchdown.
It was definitely a slow start, but boy, did he spool up quickly. Great job getting in there to Sam West. Quite the answer by the Mississippi State offense. They got into that tempo, and it got them a touchdown.
Perfect 3 for 3, including a touchdown strike to Sam West. West's 1st collegiate touchdown. We're tied at 7 here in Starkville. Standing atmosphere, cowbells clanging, burnt orange and maroon together as one at Davis Wade Stadium. How about that touchdown, Stinch?
Go back and take a look. Interesting offensive backfield. Here's Anthony Evans right here in the backfield. And they end up getting it right here to Sam West. But watch the influence it has on this linebacker. He's going to slide out just a little bit. Ty Anthony Smith, influenced by the fact that Anthony Evans is in that backfield. You better believe the Longhorn defense had a locator on number 3 for Mississippi State, Sam West. Not so much. That's his 1st career touchdown. Couldn't come at a better time for Mississippi State as they climb back into this game.
Manning hands it off on a sweep, and it's DeAndre Moore that gets around the edge and past the 35. That is a 1st down for Moore. Junior from Anaheim. Last week there's so much talk, Stinch, about him going out of bounds with about a minute to go in Lexington. Stay in bounds. You forced Kentucky to use the last time out. This is one of the best players Texas has on offense.
He was so clutch. Came up big on 3rd downs last week. Proven to be. He's already gotten a target this one. Wasn't able to connect earlier. Flags. Like a procedure penalty on Texas.
False start. Offense number 0. Movement prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Makes 1st down.
Maybe Mr. Moore isn't used to those cowbells.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's their 1st trip here as a member of the Southeastern Conference. These guys, they were talking to the coaches before, they got to stop clanging them when the center puts his hand on the ball, but there's usually a few still ringing afterwards.
Quiet for a few seconds, and then snap, and here it comes again. Manning in pressure, and he somehow gets out of there, but still it'll be a loss on the play. Found Wisner is back. It's a 4-yard loss. Jerron Manning makes the play to end the play.
That time, excellent effort right up the middle. On the Mississippi State defense, got pressure, would have been better had that ball not been completed, as you mentioned. The Longhorn offensive linemen on the field. They've dealt with quite a few injuries already.
It's DJ Campbell, the right guard, who's a senior from Arlington. They're playing a true freshman at left guard, back up at center.
Campbell, the lone returning starter from a season ago, a rebuilt offensive line for Texas, and you can see clearly under duress on the field. Got a backup in there at center. Lost Cole Hudson. He was injured in practice before the Kentucky game.
Connor Stroh, one of their other guards, man, has been banged up as well.
You can hear, Coach Sarkisian said, look, we're going to just stick with the guys we got. And you see, just whipping around after the sack attempt. Campbell's engaged as a blocker. Happens a lot. The guys you get rolled up on. There's a lot of action that's happening behind you as an offensive lineman. And you see not a lot of weight on that right leg. But good to see the big fella up on his feet. Nobody's more eager to see him get back in the lineup than that man, the play caller and head coach, and Steve Sarkisian. And as we mentioned, they said, look, there's going to be some growing pains. We just got to push our way through it. But once again, Mississippi State able to get to Arch Manning. Texas allows more QB pressures than any other team in the SEC. 43% of their dropbacks, their quarterback is having to buy time and unload the football before he wants to.
And it is Connor Stroh, back from injury, that is in there now at right guard on the 2nd and 18. Manning with a high snap, sets up the bubble, and it gets blown up. Malik Silla with the form tackle and a loss of 2.
Yeah, great job by Silla, a guy that they know is one of their better pass rushers. He showed and kind of baited it into it. That screen pass was called, wasn't an adjustment, but Silla did a great job of diagnosing. Did not rush, stayed at home, and was able to make the big hit.
All over Jack Indries, who lost one on the catch. 3rd and 19. Pressure's picked up. Manning fires. Oh, and it's dropped. A good ball to Wingo, but he couldn't field it. He would have had the first down.
For a moment there, Taylor, I thought, Manning should just run this football, but then Wingo pops open across the middle. See the frustration. Great job of finding that opportunity to climb up into the pocket. There was a lot of green grass, but as he was leaving, you could see defender underneath. That time checked up. It was Tyler Lockhart, the true freshman. Looked like he was going to come up and defend the run.
Mr. a low line drive punt that takes a Mississippi State bounce. It'll be a 44-yard punt. Let's talk about this week's secret recipe, brought to you by Bush's Grillin' Beans. Colin Simmons quite possibly is playing the best of anyone in college football on the defensive side this month.
Well, you see him with the ghost rush. What are you going to do? He's got such great speed, great get off the edge. But what I like more than anything is how he plays with his hands. So he gets engaged with the tackle. It's just able to slip that outside shoulder and harass the passers. And it's not only as a pass rusher. So they'll drop him into coverage. Quick diagnosis, comes out of it, puts his foot in the ground, and drives forward to make that play.
5.5 sacks the last 2 weeks. Shapen on the design quarterback run. Gets 3 up to the 31. Not only is he a dynamic player, man, he's also been a vocal leader for the Longhorns. Heart of that Texas front. On 2nd and 7, straight ahead, it's Booth. Near a first down as we toss it to Alyssa.
Yeah, guys, you talk about Colin Simmons, and it's not often that a freshman has the type of success that he had last year and then comes back and has the last few games he had. He told me this week the alignment, assignment, understanding of how teams are scheming up against him and what he needs to do to play around that has really started to click.
On 3rd and inches, there's the tackle made by Jelani McDonald. And he's short.
Wow. And surprised you see him going fast. Surprised at that spot. It's a great play by McDonald.
Going for it on 4th down and not getting it. Leonga Lethal, Anthony Hill, and others in there. No Michael Taft, no problem. Texas gets the turnover on downs and terrific field position.
was Jelani McDonald again coming in on the backside, getting around his legs. Colin Simmons as well, right there at the point, just no room. I gotta tell you, Taylor, real time, I thought even though McDonald made that great kind of shoestring tackle on third down, I thought, wow, that was really close. But when you go tempo, there's not a lot of time for the review to look. That would have been a reviewable spot. Every play is looked at multiple times when there's a line to gain, but not with tempo. Didn't have the opportunity. Huge stop by Texas.
Point, C.J. Baxter has the football, and he's inside the state 30. Near another first down. Diego Brumfield on the tackle. Baxter back after missing 4 games, had a hamstring on the first play against UTEP on September 13th. And he's inside the 25 near the 22-yard line. Had the knee injury last year, missed the entire season. Yesterday, Coach Sark was talking about how this guy really, if he's healthy, could be one of the premier backs in college football, but just hasn't had the opportunity in 2 years.
He's got to keep him in the lineup. You see a little bit of frustration there from his coach there on the sideline.
He's out, Weisner's in. Of course, has shouldered most of the load this year. And Contravian, it's inside the 20, and it'll be a 3rd and short.
Keep in mind, this is not the intended lineup up front. So you're Texas, you got this 3rd down, and we mentioned it earlier, this was a distance that plagued the Longhorn offense a week ago. It wasn't the 3rd and longs, it was the 3rd and manageables. We saw them last week. They ran a quarterback counter on 3rd and about 6. So the run game is still very much on that call sheet for Steve Sarkisian when he's got number 16 in there at quarterback.
3rd and 3.5.
Wow.
And a penalty.
False start. Offense number 83. 5-yard penalty. Next 3rd down.
Spencer Shannon, the big tight end.
Let's see, get in there, and here he is. You see it right there. See him kind of rock forward in his stance. It's just so hard, especially when you're down there on that edge. You can't see the football either.
Second false start on Texas, 4th penalty. On 3rd and 8, pressure. Manning throws, and it's caught. DeAndre Moore climbs the ladder and makes the grab over Rylan Lanier. First down, Texas.
Man, what a gutty throw by Arch Manning. Staring down the barrel
That's the end
of
of the
a blitz.
first quarter.
He knew he was going to get
Timeout.
grilled, and he stood in there and threw it.
From Jerron Manning, no relation. 7-7, we go to the second quarter, and Texas is on the doorstep.
In the game, easy pitch and catch to one of your playmakers, Ryan Wingo. Let him do some of the work afterwards, gets him on the doorstep, and then Arch Manning takes it in himself. Strong finish to the end of that one, and then just on the previous snap, knows he's going to get crushed, does, and delivers a strike to Moore for the first down.
Baxter slips with pressure on him as Gillette gets him again. Gillette played 2 years for Texas and was Arch Manning's teammate.
Gillette in there, get more time today because of the targeting penalty for Zachary Tillman last week. Get him back in the second half. As you mentioned, Gillette now involved 2 nice plays defensively for State.
Manning still has the football. And he's out of bounds inside the 8, taking on State defenders. Jerron Manning and Arch Manning.
You can see Manning in the role that his legs can play and need to play in this offense. Quarterback design run, no read. It's going to be you. So kind of working out the kinks of that shoulder. As we mentioned, they've been aggressive in this part of the field. Last week, struggle on those 3rd downs.
On 3rd and 7, pressure's picked up and it's incomplete. He threw to the corner and Wingo wasn't there. Wingo was covered up by Kelly Jones. Kicking time for Texas.
Kelly Jones has really emerged. That is a big corner. And literally Ryan Wingo just gets swallowed up. And it's partly because Kelly Jones is all of 6'4". We were down on the field earlier. They've been really pleased with his emergence at corner. Was a quarterback in high school, quarterback. He's emerged as a really good cover guy on that edge.
Jeff Levy says we don't throw him in practice, let alone in a game. And that kick goes through as it was deflected. Shipley's kick does go through. Wow. Do you get credited with a block if they still make it? There's a flag down as well.
Might end up getting not allowed to leverage off of that blocker.
Long conversation about it. Here's Mr. Autry.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist. Defense number 22. Defensive lineman went low. The penalty's half the distance from the previous spot and includes an automatic first down.
Take the points off the board, bring the offense back on the field.
A huge penalty, massive penalty. And absolutely no reason to be doing it. It's easy. Look at where the officials are standing. There's nothing else for them to be looking at. There's no receivers. They're all looking at the line of scrimmage. And you dive in the leg so that your teammate can jump over. You see it. It worked. Ball goes through. Except you can't take out that offensive lineman's legs like that.
First flag on Mississippi State puts Texas in a 1st and goal situation inside the 4. Manning had trouble with the snap, but got it to Baxter, and CJ still trucking defenders. No signal yet. Is that I don't think that's a touchdown signal. It was just one arm up in the air. 2nd and goal.
It was odd, that's for sure. Great leg drive by Baxter on that one.
Take a look at this.
Yeah.
The ruling of the runner being shown the goal line is under video review. Timeout.
It was quite the scrum, as you mentioned, Taylor. I thought, didn't I hear a whistle as Baxter was kind of in there in that mass of humanity driving towards the goal line.
Sarkisian said with Baxter back in the lineup, we must run the football better. Let's take another look here as Baxter is aided by his offensive lineman to get near the goal line. And some wide receivers.
Like we said, there was never any whistle. It did not, I guess, indicate there was a lack of forward progress, that he was still moving forward. Now they're going to take a look and see if, in fact, he was able to break that plane. I was always curious, when you see it, they're not able to get in there early, especially when officials get in there and kind of late. And it's like, well, of course the guy's going to stretch out after the fact. But with replay, they're going to be able to see, did in fact Baxter get it across that goal line without any after the whistle advancement.
Steve Sarkisian has had a 1,000-yard rusher 13 straight years. He's been a head coach in college football. Weisner leads the team with 222 yards. Baxter just 110 coming into this game today, in part due to these injuries. But once again, this is the identity of their team with both of those guys in the lineup.
You see that? I mean, it looked as if maybe State's defense felt like the ball was going to be blown dead. It never did. You had guys, defenders, that were kind of standing there.
It's not
they anticipate a whistle.
It's not a down-the-line view, but it certainly doesn't appear he's down as he is being pushed to the ground over the goal line there.
Agreed. It just was not ever, and if anything else, you wonder if he was ever down. Because there's bound to be bodies underneath him right there. It was a heck of an effort. There were 3 Mississippi State defenders right there as he was kind of emerging that hole right in the middle of the Texas offensive front. But I think the defenders of Mississippi State thought that the whistle was imminent and did not start pushing back against that scrum. Whistle never came.
After video review, the ruling on the field is upheld. 2nd down.
Wow. I guess he said not enough.
Yeah, just not enough to know for certain. I think most of us would look at that and say it's probably a touchdown.
Right.
But do you have enough definitive evidence to overturn what was the call on the field?
Right. That's the key, right? If it was ruled a touchdown, there's not enough there, I think, to overturn it. Because it was ruled down, it's upheld. Regardless, you've got very little grass to defend if you're Mississippi State right here.
Texas tries to make it irrelevant. And Baxter is hit and driven backwards. Jerron Manning again.
What a game number 13 is having already for Mississippi State. Boy, diagnosed, got downhill, and used every bit of that 195 pounds.
This time Manning will roll and throw, and it's a touchdown. That's Parker Livingston. And mother Olivia, dad Cooper, they love it.
That's a big swing. You think about defensively, Mississippi State, you're able to slow them down, force a field goal, almost block it, don't. And then that penalty just gives a fresh set of downs. Painful turn of events for that Mississippi State defense.
Add 4 points, assuming this extra point goes through. And the Longhorns are up a touchdown. A personal foul penalty on this short chip shot field goal attempt gave Texas a fresh set of downs, and they pay it off with a Manning to Livingston touchdown. Ole Miss gear here as a kid, so he wasn't allowed to come to the games when brothers Peyton and Eli were playing. He has traded in his alma mater's colors for his son's colors, and you certainly can understand that. His wife Ellen there next to him, and those are two terrific people that have raised a great family. Devon Booth returning this kick. We've only seen that a few times this year. Mississippi State will start at the 15. The great Dari Noka has a studio update. Thank you, sir. Surprising to see that Mizzou Vandy score too, 3-3 going to the third quarter for all those flipping around. Welcome to Starkville, where Mississippi State is back on offense. Xavier Gayton doesn't get much, maybe 2 yards there up to the 19-yard line. I think Blake Shapen, terrific 2 drives ago, but Mississippi State going for it deep in their own territory, turning it over on downs, and Texas took advantage. 2nd and 8, Shapen will step up and throw. Wide open target into the Texas secondary. Goes Anthony Evans. This guy was a specialist at Georgia. He's one of the top receivers in the SEC at Mississippi State. 26 yards. It's Shapen still with it. Out of bounds inside the 45.
Well, you see the difficulty for a defense. You get that explosive play. On the previous, you had Brennan Thompson underneath, and you had Anthony Evans over the top on that crosser, wide open, and then quickly, as soon as they can snap it, they do. The chains aren't even close to set, but as soon as the whistle, as soon as that official indicates ready for play, that ball's getting snapped.
Shapen will hand it. And it's Booth who gets down to the 41. It's why it makes such a big difference as Simmons makes the tackle there, Matt. When you have a play like that, Texas can take their time to get set on defense. Mississippi State not able to go as quickly after a short yardage run. Shapen surveys and checks underneath to Evans. Look at that play. Picks up an extra 5-6 yards, eluding the tackler, and makes it 3rd and short.
It's just going to be so hard. You mentioned Evans, a specialist when he was at Georgia, largely a punt return guy. Very difficult to tackle in the open field.
Hurdled Anthony Hill there, and on the 3rd and short, it's been a big problem for State. They get it this time with Booth.
That time, a great job by Booth. Anthony Hill Jr. was unblocked and in the offensive backfield. Good job bouncing that run for the yardage needed.
On to the Texas 31. Shapen throws. Good catch inside the 10. 1st and goal, Mississippi State. That's the speedster, Brennan Thompson.
Xavier Filsaime slipped down at safety. Right as Thompson was coming out of his break, Shapen throws another strike over the middle of the defense.
From the 7. Lobs one incomplete over Thompson's head. Good coverage. Back in there, and Anthony Hill was in Shapen's face.
Yeah, he just had to burn that one. That was smart on Shapen. Don't take the negative yardage play. Hill was in the backfield right now. Wisely just burns that play versus taking the negative yards.
Shapen 7 of 13, 113 yards and a touchdown.
See, obviously, State, you get these scenarios. We saw on the 4th down, they stayed in tempo. They get in the red zone much more deliberate in this part of the field.
Number 5 on the play clock, and Shapen will hand it off to Booth. Spinning towards the end zone. They say he's just short. Mississippi State isn't going to give them time to even look. Booth is wrapped. Nope. Shapen keeps it in incomplete. 4th down now.
Once again, close to a line to gain. State stays in their tempo offense, and Texas defense finds a way to get this stop. Watches Booth driving towards the end zone. Well, that's awful close. That was on the play before.
11th play of the drive. State 0 for 1 on 4th down. Kamario Taylor is in there at quarterback. Taylor will throw. It's deflected and still caught by Traore. Jelani McDonald got his hand on it, but it wasn't enough. Touchdown, Mississippi State.
How about that answer? Only the 4th pass attempt on the season for Kamario Taylor. Got him in there, substitute, got that huge run threat, but that time able to get the Bulldogs into the end zone with his arm after the deflection.
Texas allowed 3 passing touchdowns all season. In the first 7 games, they've allowed 2 to Mississippi State. In the first half, Blake Shapen finds Anthony Evans over the middle to get the drive going. Then the speedster Brennan Thompson gives State a goal to go. And the true freshman Kamario Taylor gets some help and Seydou Traore with the catch. Tennessee traveling to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats, and then after that, it's SEC football final. Dari Noka, Chris Doring, and Benjamin Watson take you through the biggest stories and highlights from the full slate of SEC football this week. Around here, they call them the school up north. What'd you think of Ole Miss going to Oklahoma and winning today?
It actually ended up being a little bit closer than I anticipated after seeing Oklahoma last week in first person, right? We were up close versus South Carolina. I didn't think that they were going to be able to keep up with them scoring. They almost did in this game.
Lane Kiffin reminding an OU defender that he talked trash in the post-game interview. You're not saying much now, are you? Lane is feeling it this year in Oxford. Of course, the Egg Bowl will be later this season. Arch Manning off to a solid start today. A touchdown run and a touchdown pass.
You think that first play of the game really bolstering the numbers. Truth is, Mississippi State defense, outside of that first possession, played really good football. They forced 3 straight punts before they got in the short field when the Texas defense was able to stop State's offense on 4th down.
Manning leaves, the backfield is empty as Ryan Niblett left the backfield and made the catch. And right there is Deontay Anderson to make the tackle. We've seen packages for Niblett the last couple weeks, Stench, on offense. Hasn't resulted in much, but he stays in the game behind Manning here on 2nd and 8. And takes the carry and gets greeted immediately by maroon shirts, Isaac Smith and others in there as we go down to Alyssa.
Nick Smith was a huge part of juicing up this defense just a few minutes ago before they went back out on the field, guys. That last touchdown from State's offense really fired this group up. Coleman Hutzler told us yesterday they were looking back at the cut-ups from this game a season ago, and the guys who were still part of this defense said, "Coach, how did you let us go out there and play that way?" Of course, playfully, but they came in on a mission to redeem themselves from last year.
Malik Silla gets credited for the tackle for loss there, and it's 3rd and 11 as Manning steps up, gets out of there, and runs for the first. So good at that last week in Lexington, and it continues in Starkville.
We've seen Texas struggle in this game to pick up pressure. Mississippi State came after Arch Manning again, just showing those running skills. Steve Sarkisian talked about, we've encouraged Arch to do this more. His legs are such a big part of his game. You know, he converted the first 3rd down of the game last week versus Kentucky. He was able to pick up big yardage. Excellent run there.
It's Weisner and Travion taking on defenders, running hard past the 46 for 7 yards. Ran for over 1,000 yards last year and has been the primary back without the help of Baxter in the last month. Manning slings it out there, and Moore can't get away. What a half by Jerron Manning.
I mean, just a fantastic tackle. His 7th of the game already in the open field. And I mean, just face to face, front him up. Great play out there in space.
On 3rd and 5, Manning feels pressure and throws. Incomplete. Over the head of Emmett Mosley, who was covered up by Diego Brumfield. Texas has been terrific on 3rd and long, but struggling a bit on 3rd and short the last few weeks.
Well, you can see, once again, just no answer for the pressure package. Watch Jalen Smith right up the middle. So you've got a linebacker lined up right over your center, and he's stacked with the blitzer right behind him and Tyler Lockhart. As you can see, Coleman Hauser, we talked about it, are the ultimate opportunities to pressure this offense.
Bomeister, good punt. Anthony Evans makes the fair catch inside the 10, fielded at the 8.
So Taylor, right now, Mississippi State, the defense, answering the bell repeatedly, setting up their offense. The last offensive drive, Blake Shape and Anthony Evans started getting going. Nice reads on that edge, out of the tempo offense, and the defense is looking for the handoff. Instead, you're able to pull it, get a little play action going with Brennan Thompson. And then on 4th down, after what looked to be maybe another stop, Kamario Taylor able to get in there and get a deflected pass for a touchdown.
Chapin started 1 for 6. He's 6 of 8 since. But pinned deep near his own end zone here and throws. That's a nice catch made and a nice move upfield past the 20 by Thompson, his 2nd catch. It's a gain of 12 in front of Malik Muhammad.
And you're beginning to see what the coaches were talking about. Again, they said, we like our matchups on the perimeter.
Fake to Booth, pump to Booth, now throws to Booth and he drops it.
Didn't like that first window. You had a defender that was waiting next phase, so you allowed Booth to clear just a little bit wider to get beyond the defender that was waiting him and just That's twice we've seen that in this game where you've got to catch and run. Step one is catch. Doesn't matter how much you run if you don't get that step in.
This offense is so built on momentum and speed. Just slows everything down when you have an incompletion like that. And now Shapen's facing pressure and gets out of there and simply throws into the Texas bench. Pressure that time by Colin Simmons and Ethan Burke back there as well.
Such a good point, Taylor. You think about that incomplete pass and how it just stalls everything out. With the incompletion, not only do you forfeit the down in any yardage, but it's the momentum that stops. So really a kinetic offense where you're moving quite a bit. And see if they can hold up to Simmons right here at the top of your screen.
On 3rd and 10, Shapen dumps it off, but incomplete. Lucky it's not picked. 2 drops by Booth in the last 3 plays. State will have to punt it away.
That time they brought Colin Simmons on a stunt. He's working back to the inside of the protection. So here's Simmons here. He's going to work back in the middle of the pass rush. Stunt inside, a little bit late. Good job reacting enough by Shapen to buy time. That's reminiscent of the first offensive possession with the drop right over the middle.
Niblett stands at the 35 and he'll run away from it. And Texas will have good field position at their own 41-yard line, tied in Starkville with 6:01 to go in the second quarter. On ESPN. It's the 86th homecoming for Mississippi State here in Starkville. State has won 14 of the last 15 on homecoming. None of those were against Texas. Arch Manning with good field position at his own 42. Fakes to Weisner and ready to load up downfield. No, picked off the carom. That's Kelly Jones. Kelly's down at the Texas 40. Mississippi State has had an interception in every game this season.
He's trying to get it to his roommate, Parker Livingstone. 2 defenders right there just trying to force the ball in there downfield. Kelly Jones, we talked about him earlier, had a great defense in the end zone on Ryan Wingo, and this time able to use that big 6'4" frame to come up with a huge takeaway. And as you mentioned, Taylor, that's been a hallmark of this defense, the ability to get takeaways in the passing game.
11 in total, Matt, which leads the Southeastern Conference this year. And Shapen from Texas 40, and it's Booth having trouble catching it, no trouble running it inside the 33.
Boy, what a great block by Seydou Traore. He's emerged in the passing game, and he was the lead blocker for Booth on that last run, a physical finish.
Booth again almost slips, gets up. Appears to be just short of the first down. It's 3rd and inches for Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs have struggled on this down so far today, but they slow it down this time.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. You know, they're so tempo oriented. Saw it quick on a 4th down. We saw it quick on a run that was near the goal line. This time a good bit more deliberate to try to extend this possession.
On 3rd and a yard, it is Booth. It's the first down. It's 1st and goal. Jelani McDonald saved the touchdown. And Booth goes down near the 5. That's his career high for rushes in a game, Matt, are 22. He has 17 in the first half.
You see, obviously leaning hard on him without Bothwell available. Really patient runs. You know, sometimes you see a back, especially you get in the red zone, they get a little bit sped up. We talk about passers kind of getting sped up in their head, trying to press the hole too quickly.
And this time it's not going to work. Chapin has to take the loss. Hero Canoe in the backfield there, the senior from Germany.
A little bit of confusion in the blocking scheme on the right side. Right guard, right tackle, Albert Reese. Really, Kanu just wasn't accounted for, should have been. Just was not well assigned on the right side. And negative yardage play, big play for the Longhorn defense. Mississippi State was starting to lean forward on this possession, especially down here in the red zone.
2nd and goal at the 5 to 3rd and goal at the 11. Chapin steps up, dumps it off, and it's underneath. It's caught at the 6 by Gayton, and it will be 4th down. And we'll see if Coach Levy elects to kick the chip shot field goal. He will.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Taylor. I love what they have in the kicking game. Off the quick change, you get that interception, a nice return. Really good response by the Longhorn defense, finding a way to rally and slow that offense down to force this field goal attempt.
Junior from Searcy, Arkansas, Kyle Ferry, from 24 yards away. And Mississippi State has the lead. Outstanding 3-year career for Ferry. Wanted to have a chance to win it against the Gators last week, didn't get it. Pete Kwiatkowski's defense forces State to a field goal.
Well, what a great job. Talk about the ability to potentially give up points. 7 turnovers, only 10. That defense and their ability to deal with a quick change. You practice that, but it's hard to simulate in game conditions. You get the ball in plus territory, does your opponent's offense. You got to find a way to rally quickly. That defense did an excellent job of forcing the field goal. You gave up the 3 points, but it didn't cost you even more. And so far, that's situational football where Texas has found ways to win.
Only Power 4 program with the same head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coach for the last 5 seasons.
He's got to be pleased with the way his unit responded there in that situation.
And now the Texas offense comes out there to the 25-yard line. Manning playing a clean game before that last throw when it went off Livingston's hands and was intercepted by Kelly Jones.
I tell you though, the Mississippi State defense, they played great football this first half. The very first drive, you get an explosive play, you're punched in the mouth, you're on your heels. But otherwise, they did force 3 straight punts. Your offense gives your opponent a short field. Then they force a punt and a takeaway. The Bulldog defense has been playing outstanding throughout the first 2 quarters of this game.
On misdirection, the ball's on the ground. It's Weisner that jumped back on it back at the 19-yard line. They fake the sweep.
Recovered by the offense. It is
Weisner had trouble fielding that from Arch Manning.
There's a lot of ball handling, as you mentioned. So watch, there you go, fake the sweep. And with penetration is what caused it. Jack Endres got pushed back into the backfield. I think that's what caused Weisner to lose a handle on that handle.
This is the 2-minute timeout of the first half.
If you can hear us through the cowbells, it's the 2-minute timeout in Stark Vegas. 16 to make a 3rd and long as the catch is made by DeAndre Moore. And with 1:49 to go in the half, there is a timeout that's called.
Mississippi State has called their first time out.
It is Mississippi State that calls it.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute.
It feels like each week we talk about this critical portion of the game when a team has the football near the end of the first half and they're about to get it again to start the second half.
Yes, it's big, obviously, for Mississippi State, as you see Coleman Hutzler on his sideline rallying his troops, trying to help them understand the gravity of the situation. Now, in this game, what we've seen repeatedly on 3rd and obvious passing downs, where the Mississippi State defense has found ways to get home. They're bringing extra rushers. And so all the season, Mississippi State's not been great at pressuring the quarterback, only 33% on dropbacks, but so far this afternoon, Texas has not had an answer for the Mississippi State defensive pressure packages. Will they be aggressive here to try to deny the yardage needed? If they get a stop here, you've got a chance to drive the football if you get it back. Eyes on Arch Manning and his legs if protection breaks down.
Here comes pressure. Manning goes down. Nick Mitchell. They call him the green dot, the communicator, and he's also the man that forces the punt.
Mississippi State has called their second timeout of the half.
No easy answers early, and when he could have, so look, got an opportunity. But by the time you would have located it, the pressure was already collapsing in on Manning, but you have to think, by now, you have to anticipate Mississippi State's going to be aggressive. Repeatedly, they've done it. 7 tackle for loss in this game. They started this offensive possession with the ball handling issue. You go backwards, you had to battle your way to a third and long, and now an opportunity for Mississippi State offensively to find a way to capitalize on this next possession.
Defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler's improvement with his bunch from last year to this year is truly remarkable in every way.
They went out in the portal and they upgraded that entire defensive front, and it has shown up.
Bomeister to punt to Evans. And Evans calls for a fair catch at the 40-yard line. Mississippi State has 1 timeout left in the half, and their quarterback has played a heck of a first half.
Well, we've talked about it. It was a slow start, no question about it. Got the ground game going a little bit, and then of course was able to start to find opportunities downfield because of that tempo, opening up chances, able to get the ball repeatedly to his favorite targets in Anthony Evans and Brennan Thompson. And he's been opportunistic as well in the run game where he has full reads, an opportunity to hang on to that football as a quarterback. If you don't have good edge control, Shapen did it last week as well, he can hurt you. He is opportunistic in the ground game.
Design quarterback run, you'll get a few yards here. Let's see how quickly Coach Levy calls plays with under 1:30 to go and 1 timeout left. Cal Ferry's career long is 55 yards. Shapen throws, and it's a good ball to Aiden Williams, and it's a first down into Texas territory.
You know, typically with any other offense, you know you're in your 2-minute offense. Mississippi State is just in their offense, already up over the ball and ready to play.
Williams has caught a ball in every game this year. Shapen throws to the sideline, and that's Williams again.
Excellent protection, nice clean pocket. The edges were secured. Keep in mind, coming into this drive, 43 offensive plays already run.
Shapen. Now they're well within Ferry's range, inside the 25, as that's caught by Traore.
These defenders have been on the field a lot already in this first half. That pass rush almost completely nullified. The big body's tired for Texas.
Shapen steps up and gets to the sideline.
That time, just nowhere to go with the football. And you see, because of that out of bounds and the chance to substitute an entire new platoon of that defensive line, that's a big play for the Texas defense right there, just to be able to get fresh legs along their defensive front as pass rushers. Those big ones on the inside, they were just rolling out of their stance.
2nd and 9. Shapen a one-on-one ball. End zone. Thompson. Touchdown. go in the second quarter. It was 14-7 Texas. Now it's 24-14 Mississippi State.
Well, you get the ball back for the offense, and we said this is their comfort zone. This is a matchup right at the top of the screen, working against Malik Muhammad. Get that release outside and a step. Show him your tail lights. Great ball from Blake Shapen. Missed a couple a week ago. They were able to hit a couple a week ago, and repeatedly, Mississippi State came into this game saying, hey, we've got opportunity with our receivers. They've been able to capitalize over and again, and as you pointed out earlier, get the ball back, knowing you're going to kick it to Texas. Mississippi State able to capitalize, squeezing in that other possession.
You mentioned those opportunities downfield to receivers and taking those opportunities without Michael Taft on the field for Texas, which has to be a big loss for Texas. He hopes to be back at some point next month. Women's sports takes over SEC Network every Sunday afternoon. This week we start at 1 Eastern with Oklahoma hosting Auburn in volleyball. Then we have a soccer doubleheader featuring number 10 Vandy against number 17 South Carolina, and Kentucky versus Texas A&M. Thanks to the ESPN app, last night at Anthony's in West Point, Mississippi, we all watched Janie Stinchcomb and the Samford Bulldogs win against UNC Greensboro. Five-setter, I might add.
Yeah, much needed. See how aggressive Texas is here with 38 ticks on the clock left.
Arch throws, and it's a good ball in that first down ball to Jack Ingries. Texas does have all 3 timeouts, and they have a phenomenal kicker. Mason Shipley kicked one from 60 yards last year. And Manning again underneath. Catch made by Wisner, but with 23 seconds left in the half, Texas will call timeout.
The catch, second down. Texas has called their first timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds in late.
So much talk about New Orleans, Louisiana's Arch Manning, but New Orleans, Louisiana's Jerron Manning has 8 tackles in the first half for Mississippi State.
He's been outstanding. I mean, we talked about it repeatedly. Not just in the passing game, as you see Shipley over there getting loose in anticipation of perhaps an opportunity to steal some points right here before the end of half. Mississippi State defense has played a stellar first 2 quarters. Can the Longhorns offense find a way to move this football enough to where Shipley can have a shot at this?
Second and 5, and Manning gets out of there, and Wisner's in trouble. Nick Mitchell with the big tackle for loss, and let's see, Texas will use timeout with 14 seconds left.
Timeout of the half. It's 30 seconds in length.
Again, and we said this earlier,
15 seconds,
it's better,
1-5.
Better not to complete that ball. We're gonna get that ball out there. See Sarkisian, he's over there going, what are we doing? We're trying to get rid of that football, so you have to burn that other timeout. Truth is, you're leaking down enough. 15 seconds left. Once again, Mississippi State able to move Arch Manning off his spot. They've been able to repeatedly pressure. It's not just sacks, it's influencing the passer. They've been able to do it this entire first half.
This seems to be where Arch has been his best, though, for the last couple of weeks. Third and this sort of distance.
It's a good point. Think about the scramble. The difficulty is if you do that, you get that first down, you're gonna make sure that you don't want to burn too much time. 15 seconds left here in this half.
Manning has time, will launch downfield, and it's incomplete. Kelly Jones on the coverage of Ryan Wingo.
We said this a couple of times, and Kelly Jones, boy, they love what they've got in him. He's stride for stride. Look at that, using his length. Already has an interception. Was matched up on Wingo on the earlier possession. almost nearly forced a field goal were it not for a personal foul, and Kelly Jones having himself an afternoon so far in coverage. You said it, Jeff Levy, we don't even throw at him in practice. He's done a good job because he doesn't get a lot of looks, a lot of challenges in practice. He's done a good job with the ball in the air.
Burmeister cannon for a leg here, and Evans will let it go over his head. And the clock will run out at the end of the first half. State has 30 more minutes to go. They haven't won a home game in the SEC in 3 years. No SEC wins in 2 years. Hey, marching band fans, don't forget to head on over to the ESPN app to watch the Mississippi State famous Maroon Band halftime performance coming up soon. Arch Manning, 12 of 19 for 99 yards, a touchdown and an interception in that first half. And let's go down to Alyssa.
Coach, you said you wanted to see your defense heat up this young quarterback. What do you make of their first half?
I love how we've played defensively. We've done a great job of getting after Arch. We got to continue that. We got to go in, make adjustments, get a stop and a score coming out.
How have you seen your offense manage the change in tempo so far?
For us, we responded the right way after not starting the way we needed to. We got to continue to play, take care of the football, and do what we need to go get points.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
That grew up 100 miles north of Austin has the lead on the Longhorns near the half. Dari Noka has you covered at the halftime report.
Really, the takeaway, you get that short field, a quick change. They've done an excellent job of setting up the Mississippi State offense so that they could have success. And so far in the first half, 8 tackles for loss. Negative yardage plays have been big for Mississippi State.
Texas will get the football first, though, to start the second half. There's Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, has to be thrilled with the way his group played in the first half. Now let's see who's fueling performance, brought to you by Gatorade.
Well, all first half was really characterized by pressure. Over and over again, Mississippi State defensively able to get home, harassing Arch Manning, and even when they weren't able to sack him and get him on the ground, they were able to affect him. And then, his counterpart offensively, Blake Shapen, was started off kind of rough, but he was able to get going in the ground game, as was Devon Booth, who especially right at the end of that second quarter was really able to emerge.
Arch Manning will hand to Travion Wisner, who gets up to the 29-yard line and gets near 4 yards on the play. Manning just 99 yards passing. Texas just 31 yards rushing so far. And how about that last graphic? 60 yards on the first play. With that last play, now 74 yards since. On 2nd and 6, Arch throws near the Mississippi State bench, and that doesn't get much to Wingo. An open field tackle by Diego Brumfield.
As much as we talk about the pressure, the open field tackling for Mississippi State, this defense has been outstanding. They're trying to get the ball to Wingo out there quickly. You've got a bunch of receivers to the top of the screen to see if they don't try to create some type of disruption in the coverage. Now Wingo here at the bottom of your screen is a targeted receiver on that previous completion.
Manning, that's a first down ball, and spinning is DeAndre Moore up to the 38. Alyssa, what did Coach Sark tell you?
While I was waiting for him outside the locker room, I could hear that it was a very spirited halftime conversation from Sark and the rest of that team through the walls of the visitor locker room here inside the stadium. He said, we have to recalibrate. Too many self-inflicted wounds. I said, anything need to change offensively? He said, yes, we need to get back to what we were doing at the beginning of the game. Felt like they were in a good flow then.
Manning hands it to Wisner, and he gets a couple of yards, maybe 2, into that heart of that Mississippi State defense. You think of this, Matt, back-to-back trips to the college football semifinals. Texas, the only team to make the playoffs each of the last 2 years. Best record in the SEC last year in the regular season at 7-1. But they're on the ropes here for the rest of the season, and what it's worth if they can't win this one today. On 2nd and 9, a line of scrimmage throw to Wingo, and Ryan takes off. Wingo still on his feet inside the 15-yard line. Kelly Jones saved the touchdown.
Well, that's what Coach Sarkisian was talking about. Let's get back to the way we started. How about a couple of these quick throws to the perimeter and let our playmakers do the work?
60-yarder from Wingo to start the game, 42 more right there.
And caught Mississippi State in a pressure, trying to spin a safety down to try to make that coverage, and Wingo makes the Bulldog defense pay.
It's Weisner. And he stays on his feet until he's inside the 10. Weisner, the junior from Glen Heights, Texas, has been the primary back today. C.J. Baxter is back. But Baxter, just 6 carries for 18 yards.
It's been really quiet in the ground game for Texas this entire ball game. Have not really been able to get them going at the running back position.
Manning with time takes off and is down back at the 11. Travion Williams.
Wow. Surprised they didn't get him for tripping. Travion Williams sticks out his leg. Check that. It was DJ Reed ends up tripping Arch Manning. I guess they say it's maybe deeming it incidental. Regardless, able to get the scrambling quarterback and Manning on the ground. We saw this earlier in a similar spot on the field. They tried to get it to Ryan Wingo, who is not on the field right now for Texas.
That was an obvious penalty on Mississippi State. Instead, it's a ninth tackle for loss. And now pressured Manning, able to get out of there and throw it away. Mosley was in the neighborhood. Manning goes to the ground as Silla was in his face again, and now Texas will have to settle for 3.
We asked Coleman Hudson, who's your best blitzer? The first guys he mentioned was Malik Silla. Just able to get upfield right now inside the block of Brandon Baker, the right tackle. Just did not identify it quickly enough. His assignment and protection. That has been the story. We talked about it coming out of half. Mississippi State's ability to pressure Arch Manning in passing situations.
Mason Shipley just inside 30 yards. In fact, it'll be 29. Play clock is expiring, and they have reset it now. Bomeister to hold it, Lance St. Louis to snap it, but hold on. Sarkisian's team had to get some points out of this first drive. You can say they should have had a 1st and goal on a penalty not called on DJ Reed for tripping. Instead, settling for this chip shot field goal. And one of the best in college football misses from 29 yards. Perfect inside 50 yards this season, but he hooks it from 29. State is still up 10. For the Texas defense. And Blake Shapen and Mississippi State go back to work on offense. And around the corner, it's Booth. And Devon Booth with a 1st down run on this first drive. Booth approaching 90 yards rushing on the day. Shapen is thrown for 186. And the Horns don't have Michael Taft. Surgery on Monday, injured his thumb in the 4th quarter last week against Kentucky. May be back for the Georgia game in mid-November. They're marked that maybe as where he might return, as Mississippi State has an incompletion there on 2nd and 10. He's one of the best players in college football.
And for this defense, he is the quarterback of the secondary, constantly communicating. You see, versus a tempo offense, not ideal to be without your quarterback there at safety. Oh, free play.
They're just going to blow it dead here.
Yeah.
Offside, defense number 1, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Down to Alyssa.
Talk about how important Michael Taft is to this team. Even Jeff Lebby said, watching the tape, you can see that he is the primary communicator as far as getting some of the younger guys in position when offenses are going fast. He's been down here on the sidelines with an earpiece in as another coach, this time on the sidelines rather than on the field.
And now on a second and 5, Booth is wrestled to the ground there. Yes, that's big Anthony Hill, the junior from Denton, Texas, with another tackle. Led the team in tackles for loss, and forced fumbles last year. It's 3rd and 5.
These have been the downs, right? They've been able to find a way to get a conversion, a lot of completions over the middle of the defense.
Jeff Lebby and Blake Shapen will slow it down here. Shapen facing pressure, can't escape, dives. And he's going to be about a yard short. Hero Canoe on the tackle, and it's 4th down again. And you're up 10 in the game. Do you go for it on your own 40?
The way that their defense, the way that Mississippi State has been playing defensively.
You read his lips there.
Yeah.
Punt. It's the right call, Matt, with this lead.
I mean, it's not a necessary risk. We saw this earlier, about the same spot on the field. So Jeff Lebby's frustrated. Former O-line guys like, man, I want to go for it with one.
Pulliam has punted now for a 4th time. Hasn't really given Niblett a chance yet. Niblett has one here, but can't get away. 48-yard punt, no return. Texas is down 10 in Starkville. State Bulldogs up 10 in the 3rd quarter. Lebby wisely deciding to punt it back to Texas on a 4th and 1 at his own 40. You think Mississippi State was 2 and 10 last year in his first year, and they're 4 and 3 this year. Incredible turnaround, but he says to win an SEC game, you have to execute when it's time to win. C.J. Baxter hasn't gotten free yet, and he gets a couple up to the 14-yard line. Tackled by, you guessed it, Jerron Manning. There's Lebby in his 2nd season in Starkville. He's just such an impressive guy to be around. Has such a passion for calling the game, but needs his team to break through with an SEC win to take the next step. It's Baxter again, and he gets up past the 20 and be 3rd and short.
Well, you can tell, you can sense the frustration all week long, not just from Coach Lebby, but from his players as well. And we mentioned it off the top. This team's win-loss record is a liar, and much better than what that record would demonstrate. So far, this defense has been dominant versus Texas offensively. Can the Longhorns, who have not run the football well in this game, get a short yardage conversion?
Coleman Hutzler's defense is the big reason for State's improvement. And to the air, it's a wide throw to Mosley, incomplete. Texas offense goes 3 and out against Hutzler's D.
Well, Taylor, the tale is you've got a chance to try to slam it up in there with a running back, get behind one of those big offensive linemen. DJ Campbell back in there at right guard. Instead, you're trying to get it in there to Emmanuel Mosley on a slant. Mosley, you see Arch, a little bit disappointed. That ball was out in front. Mosley looked like he wasn't quite quick out of the break.
Bowmeister barely got that off. Anthony Evans will call for the fair catch on a 48-yard punt. Tonight at 7:45 on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Number 17, Tennessee, travels to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats here on SEC Saturday night, presented by T-Mobile. Any upset alert there for the Vols after the loss to the Tide? Kentucky gave Texas more than 4 quarters last week.
I would say Tennessee offensively a little bit different place right now than Texas is, but for sure, Kentucky's very good about making you go the long way. Not going to give you up a ton of explosives and make the ball be completed in front of them. And in this game, you know, Sark is getting more and more frustrated offensively.
Gayton, they fake it to him. It's incomplete. Trying to find Evans on a slant that's thrown wide. Steve Sarkisian, phenomenal, winning 15 of the last 17 conference games in the SEC and the Big 12. And that long losing streak for Mississippi State.
Eligible downfield player, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That goes on the center. Cannon Boone. State with a 10-point lead here. South Carolina leads Alabama in the 4th quarter.
That's incredible.
And Vanderbilt's on the doorstep against Missouri with only a few minutes to go in a tie game. So all sorts of craziness happening in this mid-afternoon SEC window.
God, parity. Tons and tons of parity.
Shapen, easy throw to Williams. And Aiden has his 3rd catch, a first down ball. Made it in front of the freshman, Grayson Littleton.
You can see nice run after catch as well, and now you can jump into the tempo once again.
18 yards to Williams there. Fake to Gayton, Shapen over the top, incomplete. Second time on this drive, he tried to find Evans over the middle and couldn't do it.
Same route concept where he hit Evans earlier in the game. Brennan Thompson's underneath, buys the eyes of the linebackers who check up enough. Brennan Thompson's going to get a lot of people's attention. And Davis, once again, Evans rather, sneaks in behind the coverage, that time just a little bit out in front of him. A couple of throws, narrowly missing completions there to Anthony Evans.
Shapen throws to the other sideline, and that's one of their big targets. Ricky Johnson on the catch there, the freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia. Just his 2nd catch of the year.
Big though, literally from a length standpoint, 6'2". Guy that we've seen hadn't gotten a ton of looks in this offense. After that last play, Anthony Evans, who substituted out, put Johnson in.
3rd down. And Shapen takes off. And he's going to be short by a couple of yards, and this is again that area of the field where you'd think Jeff Lebby would keep his offense on the field.
It is.
We have seen Blake Shapen punt it. We saw that last week in a similar spot down in the Swamp.
And as we mentioned earlier, given the way the defense is playing for State, do you want to risk it, conceding good field position to your opponent? Maybe they just seek to draw him off. Wow.
They are running it. Shapen's in trouble. Oh, what a disaster for Mississippi State. Texas takes over in their territory.
Jeff Lebby was not happy. He went after Anthony Evans right now. Multiple shifts, and it looked like Shapen also upset coming over to the sideline. Wow, ill-fated. We already talked about it. Even if you throw the ball away, you're giving away the ball at midfield. Instead, you lose even more yards. You can tell Shapen clearly wanted to get it to Anthony Evans, and look at him. Immediately he's like, hey.
Alex January and Hero Canoe give the ball to their Texas offense in Mississippi State territory. Can Manning make them pay? Sideline ball, a good one down to the 35 to Emmett Mosley, the 5th, for 8 yards.
Now, I get your MO. You want to be aggressive. But conceding that much yardage to a team that offensively is really struggling, now you ask your defense to step up.
Weisner on 2nd and 2. Ground game just can't do anything.
Almost nothing.
Brandon Jennings with the tackle.
Very little to no help out of the offensive backfield. And once again, another great job right at the line of scrimmage by Jennings.
Texas has 47 yards rushing in the game, which is why Manning will throw. And he's going down. Red Hippler. Darion Gillette finished it. Hippler started it.
Once again, just confusion in the protection. That time you end up with a tight end and Jordan Washington working against Red Hippler, who just wins inside right now. And protection has been the issue all game long. No run game, you're forced to pass and you can't hold up.
After that, they don't get any yardage out of it. The ball does land in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, Mississippi State defense, maybe that's why you go for it on fourth down, because you know your defense is going to get it back to you that quick.
Steve Sarkisian's team's on the ropes in Starkville. Wow. Dari, is that the same football team that we saw last week against the Oklahoma Sooners? It's just wild each week in the Southeastern Conference. Vandy and Mizzou tied at 10. And Mississippi State up 10 on Texas here in Starkville. It's Booth. We will get a couple up to the 23-yard line. While we have a second, I do want to just salute someone during one of the last breaks here in Starkville. U.S. Navy World War II veteran Joseph Mobley was celebrated on the field. A man that certainly is in his 90s, if not into triple figures, was clanging his cowbell down in the goal line and got a standing ovation.
As he should. Yeah, brought his own cowbell, was working it.
2nd and 7, Chapin's going down. He gets hog-tied in the backfield there by big Alex January, the second-generation Longhorn.
It's a great individual effort that time by Alex January. This pass rush right off of the edge. Just wins right now. Trevor Mayberry just could not stay in front of him. Negative yardage play. Haven't seen a ton of those from the Texas defense this game.
Mike played for UT in the 80s. Now 3rd and 13 for Chapin. Surveys and goes underneath to Booth, who has blockers, and he's got a first down.
You see that concept a lot in college football. You got Traore, and they just kind of pair out. So watch them. You see that release to the left of the formation? If I don't like anything to the right, I can always come back to the left.
21 yards there, and now staying in bounds is Williams, and he's free. The flag down at the end of the play.
Well, the game that Aiden Williams is having coming into this contest, only had 10 catches. But repeatedly, boy, he's worked this near sideline.
After the play, personal foul. Defense number 4, a late hit unnecessary. The penalty's half the distance to the goal from the end of the run and includes an automatic first down.
That's Jelani McDonald. It ends up with the penalty. Jaden Gilbio with the missed tackle. That run after catch was huge.
7th explosive play for Mississippi State, getting 32 more, plus the 15-yard penalty, and they're down to the Texas 15. Chapin. The pressure picked up. He gets Traore, who rides defenders to a 1st and goal. Xavier Filson went for the ride there.
Yeah, saddle up. Traore did a great job driving his feet.
Chapin on a quarterback keeper. Can't get free. It's Filsamy who makes the tackle, and it's now second down.
That time very well defended. Filsamy, good job coming in there in that run fit. Pick up that blocker in the quarterback run. As we've mentioned before, short yardage scenarios, red zone situations. Jeff Levy a little bit more deliberate in his timing, not as fast-paced.
Free play. They're not even going to let it count because he takes a hit there, but it was caught even though Williams was out of the end zone.
Flags came out. Chapin still ends up getting grilled. Aiden Williams is saying, hey, I caught it. Bill judge is saying, no, in fact, you did not. Didn't matter. It was whistled dead.
Offside. Defense number 98 with contact. The penalty's half the distance to goal. Remains second down.
You think, we've already talked about how many snaps these guys have played. Tempo, 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 and boom. That's a big hit now. You see Aiden Williams battling for this ball. He was out of bounds, so it wouldn't matter. Either way, Chapin took a big shot at the end of that play.
Put it down at the 2 on a second and goal. Booth, no. Loses 2, maybe even 3 yards. Trying to go at the heart of that UT defense. Ethan Burke, senior from Austin in there.
Ethan Burke, great job. Just a couple times we've called his name. He's been able to win underneath the blocks. And look, we've seen teams test the Texas interior defensive front in this low red zone area. As Kentucky, there's not a lot of running room.
Chapin, end zone, touchdown, Thompson. Unanswered points. South Carolina leads Alabama and Columbia. Vanderbilt leads Missouri and Nashville. State all over Texas and Stark Vegas.
Just fantastic protection. Long enough for Thompson to uncover. Chapin, great job, not panicking, not flushing, managing the pocket. I got to tell you, Taylor, I got to go back. You give it up on downs, on fourth down, you go backwards. Mississippi State defense gave up 0 yards, forces a 3 and out. And the Bulldogs take it 80 yards on 8 plays. The defense, once again, answering the bell, and the offense taking advantage of that opportunity. Complimentary football really at its finest on display right there.
Ball at the 5 by Niblett. And he's down at the 20. Hasn't been able to do much today in special teams.
Well, much was made all week about the Texas special teams. Jeff Levy repeatedly said, hey, I got to tell you, we think our special teams is pretty good too so far this year. And I will say in this game, they have done an excellent job. Remember, they did get that field goal blocked. Otherwise, when they're talking about exchanging possessions, they've done a good job of flipping the field and containing Niblett in the return game.
We have a wild finish in Nashville and in Columbia going on. Alabama's just tied it up against South Carolina.
Wow.
Vanderbilt clinging to the lead against Mizzou, and Texas needs to get to work here. Manning throws a great ball to the sideline. That's caught by Emmett Mosley as we come towards the end of the third quarter in Starkville.
You see they'll probably play for quarter here, but a nice drive starter on that completion. They might get one off.
They do. And it's Baxter, who hasn't been able to do much today in the Texas ground game. Just 41 yards rushing for Texas through 45 minutes. Mississippi State in every phase has dominated Texas today, looking for their first SEC win in 2 years. They have the lead over number 22 Texas, headed to the fourth. This place has been lit up from the jump. And why not? They want to see the losing streak in for Mississippi State in the SEC. Arch Manning tries to set up a screen, and not much doing as Wisner is hit. It's third down after Jerron Manning and Malik Silla there on the tackle.
I mean, even big Calvin Dinkins from defensive tackle worked his way out there. This defense has looked very well schooled. The 11th tackle for loss in this game, and they are showing pressure again.
On 3rd and 10, Manning, so good on the move, throws downfield, wide open is Wingo, inside the 5. That is the third explosive throw to Ryan Wingo.
He started out in that punch set to the right side of the formation, and it looked to me like got eyes caught in the backfield. I think the secondary expected Manning to get sacked once again, and Wingo just runs right past the coverage.
47 and 62-yard catches for him today. Fake to Wisner, over the top, incomplete, and here comes the flag as Mosley. His movement was stunted.
Yeah, he's working against Kelly Jones. Mentioned his name numerous times, especially in the low red zone. They
Pass interference,
go back there.
defense number 13. The foul occurred in the end zone by rule. The ball be spotted at the 2-yard line with an automatic first down.
Call it on Manning. He easily could have gotten it on Kelly Jones as well, who was on the ball, the intended receiver. At the bottom, see the tackle there, trying to get the ball to Mosley.
It was Jones. Arch throws to the pylon, incomplete, and more flags on the field. It's Mosley and Jones again.
Pass interference, defense number 1. The foul occurred in the end zone with a snap from the 2-yard line. By rule, the penalty is half, and this is the goal from the previous spot. It includes an automatic first down.
Back-to-back snaps on Kelly Jones. Singing his praises in the first half, got the interception. This time they've been going after big number 1. Get a couple of penalties and a fresh set of downs.
Movement by the Texas front.
Ball start, offense number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Alyssa, can you hear me?
Yeah, guys, the end zone that Texas is trying to punch it in is right in front of the loudest area of the stadium between the cowbells and the students. Now the rain coming down for the first time in a little while here.
Manning with a rope And that's caught. No, incomplete. Livingston had it. He thinks it's a touchdown, and they're talking about it.
Really on the field as receiver had possession of the ball with 1 foot in bounds. Touchdown.
Sure looked good in real time. Livingston already with one today from his roommate, looking for another. I'm sure they'll take another look up here.
Move the pocket because protection's been so difficult all game long. And does Livingston, does he have possession with a foot in bounds? I don't know. Is that left toe still in bounds when he possesses the football? The right toe does not drag. Maybe that left toe does. Ruled a touchdown on the field after a conference among the officials. The replay booth has it now. That's close.
I don't know that there's enough to overturn that, and there isn't. So, touchdown Texas. And Shipley's on to make it a 10-point game again. Been so much made of Arch Manning and his poise. He was 4 for 4 for 82 yards on that drive.
Ball because Ryan Wingo's been the story most of this football game. 3rd and 10. Roll to his left, found one of his favorite targets. Really most of the offense has been to number 1. Then goes back to Parker Livingston. Able to drag that toe to get that touchdown and make it a 2-possession ball game.
It's more yardage than the rest of the team does. And Mississippi State will get it at the 25. Dari Noko, we have pandemonium in the mid-afternoon in the SEC. Wild in Columbia, where the Gamecocks had control of it late in the 4th quarter, and here Mississippi State is up 10 with the football with just over 13 minutes to go, shaping another line of scrimmage throw and a good positive play on first down to Traore, who has been big today. That's his 6th catch.
Just moving the line of scrimmage, get it to a big body out there with a blocker out in front.
And that's a first down to Evans. And Evans is out near the 38. Wardell Mack on the tackle. That is Evans' 4th catch. He has at least 4 in every game this year. Chapin with a shovel. It's Booth that's off to the races. He's gone! A 62-yard shuffle pass for touchdown. Mississippi State has at least a 40-yard pass play in every game this year. They have 15 on the season, which leads all of college football.
Well, Taylor, we were down on the field and we were looking at Blake Chapin and we're like, man, there's not much to this guy. He's not a big dude. But boys, he's done a great job of just sliding around in the pocket, great awareness. And we've seen 5 targets. That was the 5th target to Devon Booth. A couple of drops in this game. Turns out he was throwing it to him wrong. You just got to kind of shove it at him. That time able to make the catch, and boy, they are jacked up on the Mississippi State sideline. This place is rocking, and the Cowbells are clanking.
If you're just joining us, Texas, who's ranked 22nd in the country, 5-2 on the year, their college football playoff hopes are dwindling, are on the ropes here in their first trip to Starkville since 1991. All right, Dari, you told us about the Tide and the Gamecocks. What's going on with Vandy and Mizzou?
Incredible. Wow. I mean, it's been a fun story. You kept wondering, when's the other shoe drop? And it never has. Think about those turnovers at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You might be talking about an undefeated Vanderbilt football team.
Dario, keep us posted on the finish between Alabama and South Carolina here. Arch Manning throws, and it's a completed ball to Jack Indries, who gets past the 30-yard line as we go down to Alyssa.
Still a lot of time left in this game, and before the defense went back out on the field, defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler was on them about making sure there were no self-inflicted penalties. When you think about the heartbreakers that Mississippi State has had this year, you can point to self-inflicted wounds. Otherwise, this could be a different record. He does not want to see that.
Manning, all time to survey, and dropped off of Weisner. It'll be third down, excuse me.
Well, it's been pressure all game. But on second down that time, Mississippi State only brought 3, flooded the underneath coverage, nowhere to go. The safety valve had 3 defenders around it. Now it's been this down, even at this distance. Mississippi State's been very aggressive. The problem has been the running game has been so vacant. You have to think, last time we saw Texas they attempted a quick slant to try to pick up the yardage needed.
On 3rd and 3, Manning with pressure throws, and it's caught short of the first down marker. Livingston made the catch. Manning made another tackle. It's 4th down.
And Manning, the quarterback, got crushed again. He had to actually jump in the air to try to deliver it. And you can see the urgency now. It's a 3-possession ball game with a 17-point lead. And Texas compelled to go for it here on 4th.
Manning throws, incomplete. There is a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 6 with the second act. 15-yard penalty includes an automatic first down.
Deontay Anderson called for that personal foul.
Well, so there's the penalty that Coleman Hutzler is talking about. That type of penalty, we just can't have it. You saw it earlier, take a field goal off the board, and you allow Texas to score a touchdown. Obviously, position coach is going to get after it. Coleman Hutzler's got to keep coaching his defense. Just a really poor decision. At the end of this play, you pull up, you don't make contact.
And it's Weisner inside the 47, down near the 46. Under 11 minutes to go in the game. Texas only 46 yards rushing in this game today.
And really, outside of the big plays, the offense has been stagnant.
Manning, he throws against his body, incomplete.
You tell he was kind of expecting, it looked as if he was expecting Weisner to work back with him. When your quarterback's rolling, you have to move with him. He's rolling to the right, you got to break to the right. If you're deep, come shallow. If you're shallow, break deep. That time Weisner just stayed put. Didn't give Manning anywhere to go with the football.
Do you have any headache medicine by chance?
Been chewing on some Goodies powder this entire game. Speaking of that, a headache here on 3rd down with this pressure look.
Arch facing pressure, gets it out of there. Weisner stays upright and gets the first down.
Nice cut by Weisner. Really the first time in this game where we saw Mississippi State faced with an open field tackle, incapable of getting the ball carrier or receiver on the ground. Good job by Wisner, good field awareness getting upfield to get the yardage needed.
Arch, that's a bullet into traffic to Wingo.
Again, only brought 3. Protection able to hold up, and Arch Manning from a clean pocket able to find Ryan Wingo. It's been his story all game long. If there's been any offense for the Texas Longhorns, it's been through number 1, Ryan Wingo.
Update that yardage actually to 15 more than that. 5 for 184 now for Wingo in this game. And they have needed every yard of it. Manning throws, incomplete to Wingo. Manning in coverage.
That time that ball just sails on Arch Manning. You can see him, he's talking to Wingo. He's expecting you to break quicker. Saying, look, man, I need you to come out of that break flat. Ball a little bit too high for Wingo and enough time for the other Manning to come up and make the play.
Texas in an obvious passing situation really for the rest of the game now on a 2nd and 10 with 9:41 left. Manning had trouble with that snap, launches towards the end zone, and it is caught. That's a touchdown for Emmett Mosley. 21 yards for the sophomore transfer from Stanford.
What a ball from Arch Manning. And once again, that time able to stand in the pocket. Looked like pressure was going to get there from his right side. Instead, he's able to drop it in there, and you have to go back to the roughing the passer penalty. Otherwise, you're thinking, once again, Mississippi State has a good chance of stopping. Instead, you gift your opponent 15 yards and a first down. That type of penalty, the one that Coleman Hutzler talked about, cost the Bulldogs, and the Longhorns able to capitalize.
It's a 10-point game. Remember, Shipley did miss a 29-yarder earlier. Otherwise, it'd be a 1-score game. Texas trying to hang around in Starkville.
McCabb, and in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
Critical play to give Texas new life on that last drive.
It's 4th and 1, ends up being an incomplete pass. Arch Manning rolling to his right, and Deontay Anderson, you got to pull up. You can't make contact with the passer. Ball's gone. And that's what gave a first down, extended the possession, leads to a touchdown. Arch Manning, when given time, throws a good ball downfield to Mosley, able to keep Texas in this game.
Mississippi State, as usual, calls for the fair catch and will get it at the 25. Back to Dari with another studio update. Here in Starkville, Mississippi, we're upstairs in the booth. Kevin and Rhett, Spotter and Stats, Stench and Taylor with you. Alyssa on the field watching Mississippi State try to win their first game in Starkville against an SEC opponent in 3 years. Mississippi State has been terrific running it, approaching 100 yards, throwing it. Chapin has over 300 yards passing for the 2nd straight week. And the defense has caused turnovers and a bunch of tackles for loss.
But, and yet, despite all of that, and great defensive play, opportunistic offensively, the balance, Texas still in it.
Chapin trying to get out of there with flags everywhere. That play was doomed from the jump. Steve Sarkisian here, do you decline this and make it 3rd and long or take the penalty?
You see, that's exactly what he's discussing. I thing is oh, he does.
Holding,
exactly what he
offense
says.
number 6. The penalty is declined. The result to play is 3rd down.
And this feels like a big one coming up next. First, let's look at this last one.
Lots of pressure. The back does a good job coming across. I don't know. I mean, he ends up, that actually looked to me to be a pretty clean block. Good job by Booth. Regardless, the size difference probably led to some of that. 3rd and 10 plus. You usually look for Anthony Davis. He's been the answer, Evans rather, throughout this day.
3rd and 12 for Chapin, and he's down. He takes a huge hit. Anthony Hill. Texas forces a 3-and-out, exactly what they needed, and this one is far from over.
No, absolutely it is. Things like the big plays. Great job. So watch, you're going to end up kind of stunting. It's a little twist on the inside. Hill starts. Does a great job getting upfield quickly. It involves the running back. Dangerous punt returner here.
Ryan Niblett hasn't gotten free yet today. It's a good kick by Pulliam that's going to take Niblett back to his 30-yard line. And Niblett runs into his own man shy of the 40.
Well, Taylor, we've seen this multiple times in this game. With the offense, maybe a quick possession, hadn't happened a ton. They turn the ball over on downs. The Mississippi State defense has found a way to get a stop. Would have stopped Texas on the previous possession were it not for the personal foul penalty roughing the passer. Now they need another answer, and because Texas has stayed in this thing fighting, the big playmaking in the passing game, the Longhorns still with an opportunity to climb back into this game.
Manning throws deep. Wingo, no, incomplete. That's Kelly Jones. We've seen that battle all day.
Yeah, that was, Kelly Jones was all over it. We've said this a couple of times. He's running step for step with Wingo, and that length really covers up. Even if you do get past Kelly Jones at 6'4", and he's every inch of it. We saw him on the field earlier. Easy for him to close that gap.
Manning steps in and throws underneath. That's caught by injuries. It'll be 3rd down for Texas at their own 45-yard line. Brandon Jennings on the tackle. Steve Sarkisian, the head coach, the play caller, with under 7.5 to go, down 10.
They showed pressure look, walked up blitzers right up in the middle. And once again, you got a linebacker lined up over your center.
Manning, great ball to Moore for a 1st down. And into Mississippi State territory, Moore beat Manning.
That time, Texas solves the riddle. Great job by Wisner on his blitz pickup to get just enough time for Manning to deliver that ball downfield.
Under 7 minutes left. Texas down 2 scores. Wisner, that's close to his best run of the day, near a 1st down. Picks up 9.
Nearly broke it. Almost broke that run. The running game has been bottled up all game long.
It was his best run of the day.
Unsurprising, it's been so quiet. This drive here, see if that ground game starts to get going.
Manning wants to go deep. Incomplete. There are flags on the field. Livingston was pushed by Williams.
I mean, you could see about 10
There are
yards.
fouls by each team in the play. Holding, offense number 76. Pass interference, defense number 15. Those fouls offset. Replay, 2nd down.
This there isn't a 76.
Yeah, it's right up the middle, though. It's called on, it should have been on Trevor Gooseby. And then on the outside, Williams and Livingston, I don't know. You got both these guys fighting through the route.
Do it over, 2nd and 1. And that's deflected at the line and does fall to the ground.
Really is a forward
Incomplete.
pass that lands incomplete. 3rd down.
Gillette again. We called him a couple of times. Gillette with the deflection. Texas is over there holding their breath. The 3rd down, we've seen it. Arch Manning has been able to buy time with his legs. But the story in this game has been the protection issues of Texas. They picked up the pressure earlier with the running back. Can they hold up again?
Manning wants to throw to Weisner, wide open, 1st down, inside the Mississippi State 25 and down inside the 20. 15 yards on 3rd and 1.
Well, in a game where he's been running for his life, getting rocked on some of these pass attempts, Arch Manning still able to hit the layup. Easy pitch and catch, and Weisner, twice now on this drive, able to run after catch and pick up good yardage.
Career high in passing yards for Arch Manning today, 332. He throws, and it's incomplete, looking for Weisner again. Jaron Manning has been everywhere. 5:28 left. Texas does have all 3 of their timeouts. They're down 2 scores.
Taylor, on this drive, Texas has figured it out. Now, whether it holds up is a different story, but the protection has been much stronger. Manning's been able to stay on his spot. That time, just a little too tall for Weisner. But this has been the best the protection has been of any offensive possession tonight.
On 2nd and 10, Manning throws wide open. Livingston puts his foot in the ground and makes it 1st and goal.
Well, it hasn't been Wingo, it's been Livingston. That's been the story in this game. Passing attack, Weisner with a couple of contributions, but it's largely been those 2.
Arch all day in zone. Incomplete. Injuries couldn't bring it to his body.
Isaac Smith with the coverage. If that ball's out in front just a little more, it looked like it might have gotten deflected coming out. It's a real wobbler.
You have to have 3. You want 6.
You're thinking right here, absolutely. What you can't have is an empty possession. Got to be smart right here, make good decisions. You've got a field goal in your back pocket.
Manning, down he goes, back near the 9. Jeray Bledsoe, the former Longhorn.
Bledsoe, one of those guys that they've picked up. Now we've seen it, especially in this drive, condense part of the field, so the ball's got to come out a little bit quicker. Certainly help versus the pressure. We saw earlier on the touchdown throw, Texas moved the pocket from this hash to the field side to give Arch a little bit of time to throw on the run.
11th play of the drive. Manning facing pressure. That's a drop slant. Wingo has been outstanding today, but Texas will have to settle for 3.
As good as Wingo has been in this game. We've had a couple now in this game where the ball hits him, he's got a chance to come up with a catch. That's a touchdown if he runs through it.
Mason Shipley's one of the best in the game. He missed from 29. This is from 26. And it's a 1-possession game with 4:14 to go. Can Mississippi State put Texas away for their first SEC win in 2 years?
Now available on the ESPN app.
Man, we've been wearing that app out today. Wild finish in Nashville, in Columbia, and it's getting wild. In Stark Vegas, Texas was down 17. They've cut it to 7. And now they're coming out with this, and Booth made a mistake. Mississippi State will start at their own 13-yard line. They've been calling for fair catches all day, but not that time. Coming up next on SEC Network and the ESPN app, number 17, Tennessee, travels to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Let's do up in 10 minutes. Can Mississippi State and Blake Shapen put the game away? Arch Manning has a career high in passing yards today. So does Shapen.
So far in this second half, after a torrid pace in the first half, only 23 offensive snaps for Mississippi State offensively.
And they will go to the ground, and it's Booth straight ahead, who gets it up to the 17-yard line. Alex January on the tackle.
State's been really committed all game long. We talk about some of the big plays in the passing game. Booth had the big long run, but they've kept their offense balanced. You have to stay at least respectful of that run game.
Shapen throws. Thompson makes the catch just short of the first down. Up at the 22, it'll be 3rd and 1. Jalen Gilbo made the tackle.
I always see Thompson a little bit shaken up after that, holding his hand. They're going to leave him in there, trap that Texas personnel on the field.
Strength of Texas defense has been its interior in the front line today, especially on plays like these.
We've seen it. Boy, they got a lot of bodies along the line of scrimmage. The box count, not Mississippi State's favor to run it.
Just under 10 on the play clock and under 3 minutes left in the game.
Jeff Levy's going to let it run all the way down and call timeout here.
Mississippi State has called their first time out of the half. It's 30
What a
seconds.
big call here for the second-year coach, former offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. His alma mater came here to Starkville, 0-8 in conference play last year, 0-3 in conference play this year.
And you think the decisions made in this game, been aggressive on 4th downs repeatedly here. Obviously a big 3rd down. You mentioned it earlier, Taylor. We touched on it. Mississippi State had the ball in the low red zone. How good Texas has been, and they've been tested repeatedly. Their interior defensive front. If you're gonna try to just get those short yardage scenarios, what they are really good and where they've been tried over and over again is denying that. Not a ton of running room inside. We've seen Mississippi State pop a couple of runs, but can they horse somebody out?
And Kamario Taylor, the freshman from Macon, Mississippi, who's come in these situations a few times last week and scored a touchdown doing it at the goal line earlier today, is in there, and he'll keep it, and he will not get it. Ethan Burke forces a 4th down.
Great job by Texas on the edge. We've mentioned Ethan Burke repeatedly. And here in the second half, the running game has vanished for Mississippi State. 0 rush yards. Well, we've talked about Ethan Burke. Well, he's come up big in the backfield numerous times. They just weren't well assigned on this one. Burke, great job of stringing that play out.
6th punt today for Pulliam. Ryan Niblett, the dangerous punt returner, is back there, and another bomb by Pulliam, and Niblett's back near the 23. Gets the sideline. Niblett, he's gone! Touchdown, Texas! It's a week-by-week thing with him in special teams. He did it against OU, he did it twice against Kentucky, and he's topped all of those returns with a 79-yard return here, and Texas is an extra point away from tying it up.
Just remarkable. What a playmaker. What a weapon in the return game. He's been the difference. Difference versus Oklahoma, difference last week versus Kentucky. Maybe even the difference tonight versus Mississippi State.
24 fourth quarter points for Texas. Tie game.
Try is good. This is the 2-minute timeout.
Incredible. It was a bomb, like you said, from Pulliam, but when you kick it that far, you wonder, did you out-kick your coverage? Gunner can't get it down on the edge, and Niblin, what a great run, running through would-be tacklers.
The sophomore from Houston, Texas, gives Sark new life. We are tied in Starkville. Starkville has been raucous from the jump, but it's a little rattled right now after this big Texas comeback, and that is a fair catch that Mississippi State will call, and they'll get it up to 25. You think of all these close calls they've had, especially this year against Tennessee. Could have won the game, instead of lost it in overtime to the Volunteers last month. After losing to Texas A&M, they had it, but then the interception that Blake Shapen throws to Florida's Makai Boro at the Florida 29, the Gators survive. Billy Napier did not, but the Gator team did. And now we're tied at 38. Texas trailed 38-21. Mississippi State back-to-back 3-and-outs the last 2 times they've touched the ball on offense. Shapen hands to Booth again, and Booth will get ahead to the 28. That's 3 yards. Ethan Burke on the tackle. Texas has all 3 of its timeouts. Mississippi State has 2. On 2nd and 7, Shapen to Booth out of the backfield. And Shapen gets the sideline up to the 31. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Mississippi State. .120 left in the game on this 3rd and 4. Shapen on a slant. That's a first down ball to Brennan Thompson. Thompson now with 6 catches on the day. Shapen throws again, and it's a good ball. And it's Evans into Texas territory. Kyle Ferry made a 55-yarder, a school record against Southern Miss. Needs about 11 more yards to give him a reasonable chance. Shapen, pressured, throws into the bench. Texas defenders in the backfield there. Alex January has lived back there in the second half. 57 seconds left in the game. Shapen on a quarterback draw, and Texas tackles him down at the 42. Colin Simmons on the tackle. Either team is using timeout here. The 3rd and 6. Let's see how far down either side allows it to go here. Jeff Levy's coming over. Shapen in trouble, lost the football and goes down. Anthony Hill was on him with 13 seconds to go in the game. As we take another look here. See the pressure in Hill. It's Chapin just losing control of that football with Hill in his face. And now 4th down with 13 seconds left in the game. So now at midfield on a 4th and 10, and staring overtime in the face here, Mississippi State will call its second timeout. Chapin goes over to the sideline and see what Coach Levy decides to do on this 4th down. If you punt it, obviously want to try to pin Texas deep here on a 4th and 14, just 13 seconds away from halftime. If you're just joining us, from the end of the game rather, if you're just joining us, Mississippi State had a 17-point 4th quarter lead. And Texas has clawed all the way back. Chapin and the offense is out on the field here on a 4th and 14. Now, we did see Chapin punt it last week against Florida in a similar situation. And now, play clock running down. Coach Levy is standing next to an official on the sideline. Mississippi State will take the penalty and punt it away.
Who took that timeout at the end of the 3rd? Who took the timeout at the end?
Wow, what a turn of events here in Starkville in the 4th quarter. Mississippi State so close to winning their first SEC game in over 2 years. Now tied and about to punt it away. And the last time Ryan Niblett touched the football, he went 79 yards for a touchdown. Steve Sarkisian will now call one of his 3 timeouts. Just a moment ago, 79 yards away when he fielded it at the 21-yard line, able to get the sideline, stay in bounds, and score his longest punt return of the season. 75-yarder in the Cotton Bowl a couple of weeks ago. Jeff Levy's team has faced such heartbreak a couple of times in recent weeks. Of course, Texas had to go extra sessions last weekend in Lexington. As you see in the bottom right portion of your screen, Tennessee and Kentucky on ESPN News here in just a few minutes. Pulliam punts, and Niblett is not back there. And the ball is down at the 1-yard line with 3 seconds to go in regulation. Now, if you're Arch Manning, you have to dive forward here with 1 play remaining. Sarkisian huddles his team up and has to make sure that his quarterback, Arch Manning, who has been outstanding in the second half, moves forward to stay out of that end zone and go to overtime. Arch does have Weisner next to him, and he does just dive forward. And we're headed to overtime in Starkville. What a turn of events here at Davis-Wade Stadium. Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, trying to fire up his crew. Steve Sarkisian and his team were in a similar spot last week. .38 apiece in Starkville. Mississippi State controlled it most of the game, but Texas has come fighting back. Stay where you are.
Each team gets a possession starting at the opponent's 25-yard line. If it goes to a second overtime, teams again start at the 25-yard line, but must attempt a two-point conversion after a touchdown with no extra points allowed. From the third overtime on, teams alternate two-point conversion attempts from the 3-yard line until the game is decided.
Thank you, Reese. Now we understand the situation for overtime. How about how we got here? Mississippi State trailed by 7 early, dominated the second quarter, extended their lead in the third.
We have a winner.
First, let's hear this.
Team, so you'll call it the same point as before. This is heads, this is tails. Call it if you would, please. You're going to make it, whoever wins is going to get a choice of offense, defense, or which end of the field. What you like? Tails. He's called tails. We'll let it hit the ground. It is heads. You've won the toss. You're going to play defense. Which end going to play in the south end? Got it. Mississippi State has won the toss and elected to play defense. Texas is elected to play in the south end zone.
Mississippi State on defense first. Texas is about to get the ball. A 29-yard field goal by Mason Shipley was no good. One of the best kickers in the game, missing a short yardage situation. Arch Manning throwing downfield, but was roughed by a Mississippi State defender, Deontay Anderson, and then Ryan Niblett went 79 yards on a punt return to tie the game to get us to this position. Texas led early. Mississippi State dominated the second and third quarter. Texas with an incredible comeback in the fourth to force it to OT, Alyssa.
Colin Simmons this week, and he told me that Steve Sarkisian emphasized to his team, do more in the second. Have to do more in every single aspect. Here we are in overtime again.
And immediately, Alyssa, Sark has to call timeout. Clearly, there was some miscommunication there with the formation. Sarkisian talks to Jordan Washington, one of his tight ends there, and instructs Arch Manning in this offense. Manning has been brilliant. Both quarterbacks have. Manning's thrown for a personal best 346 yards and 3 touchdowns today, and run for another one. Is this his moment in 2025? This 5-2 Texas Longhorns been on the road for over a month, and they have fought tooth and nail to send it to overtime. On the first play, Manning steps up and runs. And the big man has a first down inside the 15. He was hit by a couple of players, Isaac Smith, one of them, and see Arch having trouble getting up. His ankle on a touchdown run on the second play of the game. Clearly in some pain here. Here's Cooper, Ellen, and Olivia Manning watching. Smith with the hit. At the end of the play there, it's Kedrick Bingley Jones that came in as well. 6'4", 220 pounds. Those two have done a phenomenal job raising all 3 of their children. And with Arch going out of the game, Texas will have to go to the bench. It's Matthew Caldwell, 7 of 10 on the season. The senior from Auburn, Alabama, who's played for 4 different schools, comes in overtime on the road in the SEC. Caldwell hands it off, and it's Weisner who runs down near the 5, inside the 5 to the 4. Rylan Lanier on the tackle. Caldwell 7 of 10 passing, 75 yards on the season. Will he do anything other than just hand it off here? Texas has struggled to run the football today. That was one of their best runs of the day, and Caldwell tells Mosley he's in the wrong spot. There's some communication issues there.
Illegal snap, offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Connor Robinson starting for Cole Hudson in communication problem with Caldwell as we go to Alyssa.
Yeah, guys, standing here watching Texas's injury 10, Arch Manning still in there, but he did try to stick his head out to see what his offense was doing before the trainers pulled him back in. Looked a little bit woozy going in there, but I will give you an update when I have it.
That tent is zipped up in there, and instead of 2nd and 1, it's now 2nd and 6 for Caldwell. It is Weisner to Caldwell's right, throws to the back pylon. It is caught by Mosley, but out of bounds.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
The ultimate timing ball here. Mosley had a step on Diego Brumfield.
The ruling of an incomplete pass on the previous play is under video review. Timeout.
They will look at this again. Now, is that left foot down? Replay official Jim Laborde and the communicator Pat Tate will talk to our referee Jason Autry. Is there enough to overturn that call on the field? Just have to have 1 foot down. Is that foot down with the left foot down while he possessed the football is the question. Boy, that's close. This might be the best look. Does he have control of the football as he's bringing it to his body with his left foot inbounds is the question. Feels like the ultimate judgment call to make there. But again, remember, the call on the field is incomplete. Something tells me everyone in Bernard says touchdown. Everyone in maroon says that's not enough evidence. Mosley sure thinks he got it. Sophomore pre-med major, came over from Stanford. His parents were both great athletes at Notre Dame. Showing it on the big screen, and he thinks it's enough. What a huge call towards the end of October in the Southeastern Conference.
After video review, the ruling is touchdown. The receiver had firm control of the ball with 1 foot inbounds. It'll be a try for Texas.
First lead for the Longhorns since 14-7 early in the second quarter on a Matthew Caldwell touchdown pass to Emmett Mosley. Mississippi State must match with their turn in overtime. One more look here from Caldwell to Mosley with Arch Manning in the tent, Alyssa, watching.
Still in the tent, Taylor. I'm standing here on the Texas sideline watching for as soon as he comes out, but obviously Mississippi State about to go back to work. And as I told you a few minutes ago, Steve Sarkisian's message to his team all day, or all week I should say, was do more. Just a little bit extra for when you get down into the second half of the season and you have to fight and claw for these road wins like they did a week ago. For Mississippi State, as I was talking to these guys this week, Blake Shapen said, we know we're so close to the dam breaking. We've been so close against Tennessee, then again against Florida. They truly feel like they have the makings of using this as a momentum swing today.
Texas has scored 24 unanswered. State must match. Shapen throws across the middle. Incomplete. Thompson can't make the catch. It was thrown a bit behind him. If that ball is thrown on his front shoulder instead of the back one, he could have been in the end zone. Instead, 2nd and 10. Shapen facing pressure, throws to the corner and incomplete. Thompson can't make the grab. Coverage by the freshman Grayson Littleton. Starkville is stunned with what's happened. Since 12:29 to go in the fourth quarter, it was 38-21 Mississippi State. Texas has scored 24 unanswered points, and they're a stop away from winning. On 3rd and 10, Shapen's hit. They're letting the play go, and Anthony Hill and Texas jump on it. And now one official at least is coming in and saying
an incomplete pass, 4th down.
Certainly looked like Blake's arm was moving forward. And it was. Colin Simmons with the big hit there, and now State is on the brink. Must get past the 15 to keep the game alive. And they're flags, and it's going to be 4th and 15 instead.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 77. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
And with the game on a line in a 4th and 15, you wonder if you're Jeff Levy, if you use one of those timeouts here just to settle your team down. And he'll call the play.
This Texas sideline down here, Taylor going absolutely nuts. They are cheering for a Texas defense that has been on the field a whole heck of a lot over the last 3 games. Another overtime matchup tonight.
On 4th and 15. More procedural issues.
False start, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Now 4th and 20 for Mississippi State, and they have to.
Mississippi State has called their one timeout for this overtime period.
Here is that timeout we talked about. Jeff Levy needs a miracle suddenly. You think, Alyssa, they had total control of this football game half an hour ago, and now they need a miracle.
Yeah, it goes back to what I told you guys at the beginning of the fourth quarter when there was still a lot of time left and it was all momentum. Mississippi State, Coleman Hutzler comes over to his defense and reminds them about some silly penalties. We see that turn into an eventual touchdown drive for Texas, and I can tell you, Taylor, this sideline is completely rejuvenated with their starting quarterback still in the tent in Arch Manning. This is a defense that they have been able to put on their shoulders week after week after week, and asking them to do it again feels like the unit that you want this game's hands to be in if you're a Texas fan. Michael Taft up on the sidelines right now helping coach up his guys, willing them to get one more big stop.
Mississippi State needs a miracle on 4th and 20. Shapen facing pressure, trying to get out of there. He can't! Texas ends the game with an Ethan Burke pressure. What a miracle win at Mississippi State for the Texas Longhorns in overtime. Steve Sarkisian's team was down 17 in the fourth quarter. Somehow found a way and survives. One more look at the last play. Good pressure by Lance Jackson, the freshman from Texarkana. And somehow Steve Sarkisian's team has found a way to win, Alyssa.
Coach, your team battled all night long to get back into this one and force overtime. What can you say about the fight that you saw from your group tonight?
Well, that was the one thing I asked for yesterday in the team meeting. I said, guys, this is going to take 60 minutes. We got to be the tougher football team mentally and physically, and it's got to be all Texas fight tonight. And that's what it was. We didn't play great football tonight, but we surely fought. We played as a team. It's back-to-back weeks. Our culture showed up.
Feels like back-to-back weeks for Ryan Niblett coming up with a huge play. What did he do for you in that moment?
Well, he's a phenomenal player. He's courageous. He's confident. And so's that whole unit, you know, and they block extremely well for him. So great by him. It's been a month on the road. Can't wait to get back to Austin, get back to DKR next Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
Thank you.
42 days on the road. They go play Vanderbilt next Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern on ABC. They outscored Mississippi State 24-0 in the final 9:34 of regulation and overtime. Mississippi State has lost 16 straight SEC games. Again, our final score, Texas 45, Mississippi State 38. We send it out to Lexington for Tennessee and Kentucky. For Matt Stinchcomb and Alyssa Lang, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Here's Tom Hart.